Hi, everyone. How are you today? If you can see and hear me, you can just type in the chat. I'm excited to have you all here to join me for the Thuya Lash Lift and BTX training. Hello. So I'm Chinita. I will be your Thuya instructor for today. Perfect. So we're going to get started promptly at noon, just because I want to make sure that you get all the information that you need to be the best Thuya specialist. If you have any questions along the way, please feel free to type it in the chat box. I'll be viewing that as we go along and answering any questions that you may have while we're doing the presentation. We're going to do a quick overview of Thuya, and then we're going to go right directly into the live demonstration. And I'll be telling you more about the product and the application, and any other questions you might have, I'll answer along the way. So thank you again for joining me today. And I'm just going to get the PowerPoint up here. Hello, everyone. Perfect. So can everyone see my share screen here? Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to start here with the lash lift. So we're going to do lash lift. Everyone knows it's the hottest beauty trend. It's actually been pretty hot for quite some time now. It's still a service that a lot of clients are demanding. So you want to be the practitioner that's able to provide this service. And with Thuya, you're going to get an excellent lash lift. And you're doing a twofold for your customer. You're going to get, they're getting treatments to their lashes as well as a beautifying service. So Thuya is a worldwide leader in eye care products. They've been specializing in eyebrow and eyelashes since 1988. And they're in more than 50 countries around the world. They have their own lab in Barcelona, Spain, and that's where they do all the research and development of new formulas and products. And they're constantly changing and adapting to meet the needs of today's market. They are very specific on meeting the highest standards in quality and the effectiveness of their products. And they want to keep it affordable for you, the specialist, as well. So Thuya uses the finest active ingredients and the most innovative formulas to achieve quality products. It's dermatologically and ophthalmologist tested. So what's the difference between lash lift and, let's say, lash extensions? So lash lift is an alternative to the lash extensions. So a lash lift, you're using your own natural lashes. There's nothing being added. It's just taking the natural lashes and enhancing the shape. So what it does is your upward growing lashes will give a more cosmetically pleasing appearance once you do the lash lift. It helps to create longer lashes, but using your own natural lashes. So you want to know and you want to be able to explain to your client, how does this work? The natural lashes are carefully adhered to the silicone pads, and they're used with a water-soluble glue. Then you will take each section of the lashes, generally working from the outside in, and apply it to the pad. But I'm going to show you all this when we actually go through the demonstration. Once their lashes are adhered to the pad, you're going to go in and you're going to add the solution, the perming solution, and let that process. Once that processes in the required time, you're going to remove that dry removal, and then you're going to go back in and you're going to add the neutralizer. Let that process for the desired time. Then you're going to remove the neutralizer, and then there you process the lashes, and you've done your lash lift. The end results of that are luscious, longer, lifted lashes, and that's going to last for your client for up to 6 weeks. So here are some before and after pictures of a lash lift. So what are the benefits, you might ask, of having a lash lift? Well, you're not going to have to use those metal curlers to curl your lashes, because they're going to be like that for up to 6 weeks. So there's no extra work on your part. You're going to have longer sky-high lashes. We're taking what you already have and we're elongating those lashes to give them the appearance of longer, fuller lashes. And it's great for short lashes as well. So any kind of length of lashes can benefit from a lash lift. It's a great alternative to lash extensions. You're not going to have to go in every few weeks to go get a fill for your lash extensions. It's not going to cost you 2 hours of your day every 3 weeks to go get a lash fill. So this is a very time effective and affordable option for your client. And it's longer lasting. Like we said, you get up to 6 weeks wear with a lash lift. It's low maintenance. So like I said, no more visits to get the lash fill. You don't have to curl them every morning. So you're going to save time. And the lash lift gives the appearance of longer, darker lashes when you include a tint. So when you tint the lashes, those are going to even enhance the beauty even more. And as you see on the model, she has lashes, but she's got like lashes now when you look at the second photo. So Thuya likes to do everything in kits, making it easy and accessible for the specialist. So in the Lash Lift kit, it comes with the permanent gel, 15 mils, the neutralizer cream, 15 mils, a lash lift glue, that's 14 mils, the silicone pads, which is a medium, but there are other sizes that you can purchase as well. The medium is just the standard that comes in the kit. There's also a small and a large size of the silicone pads. It also comes with the comb/brush combination and the application stick. Now, the other part of the service that we will be doing today is called a Lash and Brow BTX. So what is the Lash BTX? So Lash and Brow BTX is an innovative product created for total eyebrow and eyelash construction. It's going to improve the visual results for a brow and lash lift while making the eyebrows and lashes healthier and thicker. And that's what everyone really wants. They want thicker, lusher, fuller lashes and brows. And that's what the Lash BTX, Lash and Brow BTX does. So when do you use it and how do you use it? So the Lash and Brow BTX, you use it after you do a lash lift or a brow lamination. So what it's going to do is going to rejuvenate the eyebrow and the eyelash hairs and make them more silky and flexible, right? It's kind of what the actual filler product does to your skin. It's going to fill in any rivets and it's going to make it smoother and plumper. And that's what this does for your lashes. So it also increases the thickness and the volume of the hairs, making fragile hairs healthier. And it also gives you more visual results. So I can do a lash lift, but once I add the BTX treatment at the end of the lash lift, those results are going to be amplified. And that's going to be even more of a benefit to your client. So how does it actually work? So with the Lash and the Brow BTX, it reconstructs protein chains in the hair after the brow and lash lift procedures. So who is the Lash and Brow BTX for? So it's going to improve the visual results of the eyebrow lash lift. It's for the client who has very thin and very sparse or fragile eyebrows and lashes. You want to promote this for eyelash hair growth. So if you have a client that might have been coming off of eyelash extensions and they're trying to restructure their existing lashes, this is going to be a great treatment that you can provide to them. So it's for damaged eyebrows and eyelashes. It's going to help promote the recovery process. So what are the ingredients that are in the Lash BTX that makes it so effective? You're going to have the keratin, amino acids, hyaluronic acids. It's going to hydrate the lashes and brows, and it's going to help promote that hair growth. And there's going to be no aggressive impacts. So it's going to do it in a healthy way. What's contained in there is olive oil, sunflower oil, rosehip oil, corn oil, and grape oil. So the grape oil is good for moisturizing and repairing the hair. The corn oil helps to prevent premature hair aging. The rosehip oil helps to restore the hair's elasticity and hydration. And the sunflower oil provides hydration and adds an extra layer of softness to the hair. So I'm going to show you how to use the Lash BTX. So I'll go over this very briefly. After you finish your lash lift and you removed all of the products off of the lash, you're going to go in and you're going to add the Lash and Brow BTX. That's going to stay on the hairs for 15 minutes. Then you're going to remove the product with a dry cotton swab. So there's no water needed. And the results from the BTX will give your clients results for 2 to 3 weeks. So for best results, we also recommend the Thuya Lash and Brow BTX for every other eyebrow and lash lift tinting services. So we don't want the client to use this every time because it's not necessary, but they can come and use it every other time that they're getting their lash lift or their brow lamination. So how can you get in contact with Thuya? You can stalk us on social media at Thuya Canada, and like us on Facebook, Thuya Canada, or review us on Facebook. And let us know what you thought of this webinar, what other types of webinars you would like to see. If you have any questions or any of the Thuya services or products, please reach out to us and we can help you answer those questions. And we also have an educational website, www.thuyacanada.com. So you can go and see videos of Thuya services, product information, all that is listed there to help you. And if you have any questions that you don't see the answers to, or you need more specific answers, you can also send us an email at education@cbongroup.com. And I'm just going to check the chat now. Perfect. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be switching over to the actual demonstration bed so I can set that up for you. So if you guys wouldn't mind giving me a moment, it'll probably be like 2-3 minutes and I'll get that set up and then you'll see me over there. One moment. How's she typing? Hi guys, are you able to see is the model clear and everything? Sorry, I had it on mute while I was setting up. I didn't want you to hear all that rummaging around. Just give me a thumbs up or just say yes if you can see everything sharp before we begin. Okay, perfect. Everyone's good? Perfect. Okay. Thank you for your patience. I am not in the audiovisual department, so it takes me a little longer to set things up. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today on our model is a lash lift, okay, using the Thuya Lash Lift. So before you start, you always want to make sure that initially you're going to be testing the model to make sure if there's any kind of reaction to their skin, any allergic reaction. And you want to do that at least, I would say, 48 hours before you actually do the process. So the areas, what solutions you're going to test on the model skin will be anything that you're using. So you would test the glue, you would test the neutralizer, you would test the perm, the tint, and the tint oxidant, which is a special solution. And you want to test that in an area that's inconspicuous, but it's close to the face. So two sensitive areas that I like to check or to test these products on the client would be behind the ears, because if there is an allergic reaction, it's not going to be too visible, or you can test it on the wrist of your client. So those are two areas that you can test the solutions on. And just make sure that you know what solution is tested where, so that you know what the client actually has an allergic reaction to. And if that's the case, that they have an allergic reaction, you don't want to proceed with the service. You can wait again, maybe in another 6 months, and test to see if they have another allergic reaction. But if they're going to react badly to one of the products, it won't allow you to do the complete service. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is we want to clean the eye area. We would want to ask our client not to wear any kind of eye makeup before they actually come in. So when you're doing your follow-up call to your client to remind them of the appointment, or your receptionist is doing that, you want to ask them to please come in with bare eyes. So no mascara, no liner, just because it'll be more effective for you to just clean what's already there as opposed to removing the makeup. However, if your client does come in with makeup, we do have a makeup remover. It's our bi-phase remover. Just try to focus it in here. So it's a blue solution. This will remove waterproof makeup as well. You do have to shake it up to emulsify it, and then you can go ahead and apply it on the eyes with a cotton pad. But she doesn't have much makeup on there. Do you have any makeup on? No, she has no makeup on. So I'm just going to go straight to our other makeup remover. That is the water-based one. And this one you're going to follow up even if you use the bi-phase, because this is going to remove any oil residue that's left over from the bi-phase makeup remover. So I'm just going to use this water-based one. It has curcuma in it, and that will help with any inflammation. Also prepping the skin to reduce any reaction that your client might possibly have, because the curcuma is anti-inflammation. So it's going to help soothe that eye area before you even get started. So I'm just cleaning the eye area here. Now, if you were using the bi-phase and your client did have like waterproof, you might want to rest it there for about a minute or so before you start wiping, just to give the chance for the bi-phase to start dissolving the makeup, and then you can wipe it away. I'm going to make sure that that whole entire area is clean. We don't want anything on the hairs. I'm just going to go over it again. And if you're doing the brow service at the same time, I just do the whole eye orifice. I'm not doing the brow service today, so I don't want to remove any excess makeup that she may still want to wear after the lash lift. So I'm just going to do underneath the eyes, the lashes, and above the lids, because that's where your protection pads are going to go underneath. So you want a clean surface for that to adhere to. Your lash lift Silicone pads are going to go above the eye, so you want to make sure that's a clean surface. And the lashes need to be clean because that's where you're applying the glue for the rollers. Okay, so once we clean the eyes, what we're going to do is we want to go in and we want to brush out the lashes. Because we want to make sure there's no dry debris in there. We want to see the integrity of the lashes. You know, we're checking for the quality of lashes. So I'm just going to brush them up and out. I see a little mascara in there, must have been from before. I'm going to use a bit of the biphase in that lash to get it out. It's not brushing out. Did you have waterproof makeup on? Was it regular mascara? I don't know. Okay, I'm just going with the biphase because I know it will dissolve it. It's just a little piece that's hanging on the lash there. That's the thing. You tell your clients to come without any makeup on, it could still be makeup left over from, you know, a day or so, especially mascara. These mascaras nowadays are like so bondable with your lashes. So it's coming out. I'm going to just brush it out there. Just like one little piece. And the reason why I want to make sure I get that out is just so that it's not going to interfere with the adhesion of the lashes to the actual pad. And where that mascara is, if I tried to perm over that, that's not going to penetrate. The perm's not going to penetrate. So we're not going to get the, that lash to lift because it has product on it. So even if your client does come and they say that their lashes are clean, go ahead and clean them again. If you want to be safe, you can clean them with the biphase. Otherwise, you can just go in with the water base. I generally like to do two-step, to be honest, because like I said, she doesn't have any makeup on, but there is leftover product from when she did wear makeup, maybe, you know, yesterday. And there we go. That was a little stubborn piece of mascara. Okay, so because I cleaned that with the biphase, I'm going to go back in with the water base just to clean over it. So I make sure that I'm removing any kind of oil that might have been left over from the biphase. Yes, the brows are going to be done another time. Today, we're going to focus on the lashes with the BTX. But again, if there are specific webinars that you would like to see, just let us know. And we can definitely put that up for next time. Okay, so you want to make sure that the surface of the eyes are dry because you're going to go in there and you're going to put glue on the lids in order to do the lashes. But first, we're going to start with the protection cream. So actually, the protection cream, we'll do it after because I don't want to take here. We're going to do the tinting later. So I'm going to start with the eye pads. So for my model, as you can see, her lashes are a little bit shorter. So how do you determine what size of silicone pad to use for your model? So like I said, it comes in a small, medium, and large. Sometimes you can tell just by looking at the client. Like with her, her lashes are short, so I can tell she's going to be a small silicone pad, which is the one that I have here in my hand. But sometimes some people are a little bit borderline. They may be small or a medium. So you can always just take a clean silicone eye pad and just plop it there on top of the lashes. And what we're going to do is we're just going to size them. We want to make sure that these lashes are going to go over at least the middle section of the roller so that it's going to give that client that desired lift. I don't know if you can see this, but what you would just do is just take the roller and then you're just going to push it up. You want it to at least meet halfway here and go over the bump if possible. So at least going over the bump, the midsection. Now, if you do have a client that you feel the lashes are too short for this, we also offer another service, the lash curl, the lash perm curl. So that's another option. But I'm going to do the lash lift on our model today. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to use the, this is our glue. It's called a duo glue. So this glue is combined with silicone and latex. So it dries rather quickly. So be sure when you start this, you're going to work fast, okay? So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take the silicone pad, the back of the silicone pad, and you're gonna add glue to this section here. You kind of see there's a half moon shape. You're just gonna add glue to that half moon shape. This rigid part, the free form part, you're not gonna add any glue there because that's where you're going to be able to lift and apply the pad. So no glue goes there. So you always want to make sure you're using an alternate brush when you're dipping in the glue because you're going to be using this for multiple clients. So I use it with the little bit of a lip gloss wand. So I'm going to apply it here all on the back. Make sure you get a good coating, not too thick because you have to remove this after, and just lightly rim it, like to rim the insides and the outsides. Then I'm going to give it a second or two to dry. And then I'm going to go and apply it to the lash. This is the tricky part because you want to get it as close as possible to the lashes, but you don't want to go over the lashes. So what I like to do is to take my ring finger, lift the lash at the brow. So at the brow bone, lift it up slightly. And then I'm going to kind of wiggle it down. You can leave like about 1 millimeter of space, but no more than that. And then I'm just gonna hold it here for a moment, just while the glue dries. But like I said, this glue dries rather quickly. And you'll see when it's completely dry, it'll go clear in the back. And you can see it's starting to dry now. So key thing, remember to put it down as soon as possible, but give it about, I would say, no more than 5 seconds to dry before you apply it to the actual lid. Otherwise, you're going to be working with dried glue and you're not going to get any adhesion at all. And I'm going to do the same thing to the other. So just lift it here and leave like about 1 millimeter of space. These gloves are not my friend today. Okay, perfect. Make sure it trills the whole. Now everyone's going to have different eye sizes, and these pads are generally a one size fit all. So just make sure you're starting the eye where it needs to be started. That's the key. You don't want to miss any lashes. So you can adhere it from the inside working out. That way you make sure you get the full length of the lashes. Okay, so any questions on that so far? Please feel free to put it in the chat there. I'm just holding these down for a second or two, giving them the opportunity to dry. But this one is pretty much adhered there because it's not moving at all. So what I'm gonna do is when you're applying the lashes, you wanna make sure that you're just working in thirds. So I'll start with the outside third and move my way in. Now, if you don't feel comfortable, if your client has extremely long lower lashes, you can put the protection pads to adhere the lower lashes. But my model's lower lashes are very, very short. So I would be fine. But when you're beginning and you want to, I would put the protection papers here. And I'll just show you how that's done. I'm going to do it when we do the actual lash lift tinting process. So you can just apply some of the protection cream underneath, and that's going to help it adhere to below. And then you can just, before you put the eyelash pads, just apply it to the lower lashes to adhere them down. So now I'm going to start adhering the lashes up. I'm just going to start with little sections. Like we said, this glue dries super fast. Don't put a lot of glue because you don't want them to start clogging the lashes. So just a very thin strip. And I like to use my orange wood stick. And I'm just gonna do this small section. You can work in fourths until you get comfortable with it, but you wanna make sure you're putting the lashes up as straight as possible. And making sure that you get any lashes that are in the corners, like as much as you can. There will be some lashes that might be too short, especially if your client's using growth products, they might have various lengths of lashes. So there might be some lengths that you're not able to get, and that's fine. But the vast majority, you want to make sure that you get up there and you get them as straight as possible. See, this glue is already dried on there, so you really have to work fast, especially the thinner the glue you apply on, the faster it will dry. So until you're comfortable, you can work in like quarters. And what you're doing is just putting them straight up, making sure you don't get any crossing action happening with the lashes. You want them straight, and try not to slant them either, because the more the lashes are focused on the center, the more you'll be able to see the actual drama of the lashes. And I'm gonna add a little more glue. But again, very thin with the glue, because you'll have to remove this after, and you don't want a whole bunch of the glue dried up in the lashes when you do remove it. So what I like to do is just gently press the brow hairs down the brow, like hold my finger right on the brow bone, and this will help me pivot the lash. I'm not putting any pressure, I'm just on top of it. And that's more so just maneuvering the skin, and I'm not pressing on her eyeball or anything of that. And that's why I like to be as close to the actual brow bone. So super fast, this glue is drying. I'm gonna do this small little section here. And if you notice, will you know if you're using too much glue or you need to reduce the amount of glue? It'll start to get gummy, right? Because this is a silicone and latex-based glue. It'll start to gum up if you put too much of the product on there. So that's one thing you want to do thin as possible. That way, if you do need to go back and add some more glue, you don't have to worry about the product gumming up on your actual stick. Because once it's gums up on the stick, you'll start removing the lashes as opposed to applying them. So it's always good to have extra sticks handy in case you have to swap them out. This will be the most time-consuming portion of the treatment, is actually making sure you get the lashes on there straight. Now, another good trick to know is that you can actually use the glue to unstick and restick. So let's say I see a lash that's on there that's not straight and I want to remove it, but I don't want to take all of the lashes off. I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on my orange wood stick. I'm going to find that lash. I'm going to saturate it a little bit with the glue and kind of use the pointy end to straighten it out and then press it down. So if you notice that you have some crisscrosses on there, just use a little bit of glue and use this as your divider. And then reapply it back down. Now this duo glue is really good. The only thing is just building speed to apply the lashes. It's going to be key. And what we want to make sure is that we're getting them up there straight. It's great that you got them all up there, but let's make sure that they're straight so that the client's going to get the best results. Now, if you have one stubborn hair that's not adhering, you can hold it on with the glue until the glue dries, just like with the back tip here. Now, what happens if you've added too much glue and it starts getting really gummy? What do you do? An option that you can take a Q-tip that's moistened, but not dripping wet, and start removing the glue from that area and then reapply those lashes again. Once you start getting that gummy, stringy effect on the glue, you've overworked the glue, and that's going to inhibit your perm solution from actually penetrating the lashes. And that's what we don't want. So, sorry, I'm jumping the camera. So I'm just going in and checking that we have all the lashes up. And you can kind of take a look. What you want is a lash line flipped. I don't know if you can see that, but you can actually see her water line here. Might be hard from the camera angle, but I'll just gently lift it. But you can actually see her water line. And that's what you want. You want her top water line resting on the bottom water line. That way, when you're putting the solutions on, you can actually see where the solution is going. You won't get it in her eye because you can see the rim of where the waterline starts. Okay, and I'm going to do the other lash. Any questions about putting the lashes on the actual roller? Feel free to ask me. Those are just tips that I learned. Because this glue is really fast, I would work in quarters for sure. I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the outside. And what I like to do is put it on and then thin it out. And like I do my little one finger gently maneuver it above the brow. And I'll go back and add some more glue. Like I said, this does dry really quickly. So work in, I could say quarters until you get the hang of it. Okay, and if you have one or two that have come off and you've got the rest up, don't worry about that one. We'll go back to that one after. Just let's try and get the vast majority up first, and then we can go back to the ones that might have popped off when we did the grouping. So I'm just gonna put a little glue here. Use a little bit of firm pressure when you're rolling it back. You want to try and roll these straight back. Don't do a side motion or to the left or to the right. Try and just go straight back from where the lashes sit. And like I said, remember to always get a new orange wood stick or just clean up the gum buildup from the latex on your stick. Because if you try to go back in with a stick that has dry glue on it, it does completely the opposite of what you want it to do. It actually begins to remove the glue that you've applied. Okay, just a little bit here. Now I will say that will be the tricky part, is making sure that you get the lashes up and straight. Now there's some lashes here that have come off. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of glue. I don't wanna disturb the lashes that are already there. So what I'm gonna do is take my orange wood stick and a little dollop of the glue. I'm just gonna roll it in here. And I'm gonna apply glue directly to the back side of the lashes. So these cluster here has fallen off. I don't wanna add glue here and then disturb the ones that have adhered. So just add a little bit of glue to the back side of those lashes and then roll those lashes straight up. And you see that's got the lashes up already. And I didn't disturb the other ones. There's a little cluster here that I want to do the same. I'm not going to add glue here because there are some lashes already stuck. I'm going to add a little bit to the end lashes. And just go straight up. So that's a quick time saver. It'll save you a lot of stress and headache. If you have a little bit that have popped off, you can just go back in with a little bit of glue on the tip of the orange wood stick and then put those up. Because once you start adding more glue, it'll be undoing the process. Okay, so now I'm gonna take a look and make sure that all the lashes are up and that there are none crisscrossed. And you want to look from both angles. So I'm looking from bird's eye view now. I'm going to step around. I'm going to take a look from the right side. I see one that's a little bit curved there. I'm going to straighten it out with a little bit of glue. And trust me, it seems like unnecessary, but once those lashes are bonded, that's the shape that they're going to take. So if you have a crisscross lash on this roller, it's going to stay crisscross for your client until those lashes grow out and her new lashes come in. Okay. And then you want to make sure that you don't have any lashes that are from the bottom adhere to the top. What I do is I just gently lift and I can see that there's no hairs cross-secting over the eyeball. Okay, so we've got that up. What we're going to do is we're now going to go in with the gel, the permanent gel. You see that? So the permanent gel, I like view this camera. Okay, so the permanent gel is going to be added to the lashes. Now, when you're doing a curl, you're going to add it from the base of the lashes to the middle section. We're going to always leave the tips free. We don't want to over process them. We don't want that's not necessarily needed because it actually weighs down the lashes. So you're not going to get as much as a prominent lift if you're actually applying the permanent gel to the lash tips. So the great thing about Thuya, their permanent gel comes in a aluminum tin, which is great. It's easy for you to excrete the solution, but everything is also sealed with an aluminum seal. So the first time you use a product, like the permanent gel, you're going to remove this ring. You can toss the ring because you won't need it again. And then inside the actual lid, there's a puncture. So this little circle will puncture the aluminum seal and that you'll have your product excreted out. Now, if you've already used this product and you're going back to use it, you want to make sure that you excrete the first drop of the solution. This is a brand new one. So on brand new ones, you don't need to do that. But when you're using a solution in an aluminum tin that you've already used, there will be some solution in the nozzle, right? And you want to make sure that this little 1 centimeter of solution is what you don't use because that's already oxidated in this tube section. So you're always going to excrete the first drop and then the solution behind that, you can go ahead and use. Perfect. So I'm just going to get my little bavette here. So I'm just going to excrete the solution. So I would say start with the rice grain. As you can see, the solution is very clear when it comes out. If this is older solution, it's going to have a little bit of a tinge of pink to it. And so that's how you're going to know that that is already oxidated solution. Yes, so the lower lashes, you can use, like I showed, the actual protection cream and the papers that will adhere them down. And some people do tape them, so that's also an option too. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to apply it with the Thuya brush. Thuya makes a great line of brushes. There's one for dye. There you have a square and a pointy tip. These say use for dye, but you can also use them to apply the perming solution. Just I would have more than one set of brushes if you're going to be doing perming and also the neutralizing. You would want to make sure you're using a clean brush each time. This can also be applied with cotton swabs. Vanessa, did you get the answer to your question? Okay, so when okay, perfect, thank you. I just want to make sure that you heard me. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a small amount. Do you see that? Like maybe, I don't know, like just a little bit. And you want to apply it to the section of the base of the lashes. So that's why I can see the waterline. I'm going to get as close as possible. And I do more like a pressing and tapping motion. You don't want to do any kind of rubbing or spreading that way because you're going to disturb the lashes. Our goal is to keep the integrity of the lashes on the roller, how we set them out. So just going to tap it gently, but you want to make sure that you add a good amount of product. It's hard to see this one in the camera because it's clear, but I'm doing what I like to call a caterpillar body. So I don't have a straight line. I'm just putting the product down and kind of like dragging it, but not touching the lashes when I'm doing it. And I'm making sure that the ends are free. Now, if you do get some on the ends, don't worry. This takes 15 minutes to process. In the meanwhile, while it's processing, you can just remove the any of the perming solution that you got on the tips with a cotton swab. And you can just gently press it. Because it's gel, sometimes it spreads a little more than we want. So I'm just going over her tips with the cotton swab and just absorbing up the perm. But I'm still not rubbing it. I'm just absorbing it by pressing it down and moving it over. And now I'm going to go apply the perming solution to the other lash. And you can start inside out or whatever you feel comfortable with. And then you want to just make sure that you check in with your client. Are you okay? Do you feel any kind of stinging? You're good? Okay. And so I'm just pressing it in as close to the base of the lashes as possible. And this is why I said it's important to make sure when you're applying the lashes that you get that flip. Because I can go really close to her waterline without actually touching the waterline. If her waterline was underneath, that means I didn't pull the lashes taut enough on the actual silicone pad. And what that means is when I'm trying to get close to the base of the lashes, it's going to be more likely that the perming solution will get into her eyes because I can't see the waterline. And that solution, if I try to put it close to the rim, it has more of a likelihood to slide down and into the eye. Whereas when it's flipped, I can see it. And the only place that it can really go is on the waterline because the waterline is turned up. And then I'm easily able to clean that without interrupting the eye. And it's less likely that it will actually get the solution in her eyeball. Okay, so you want to make sure that you've covered everything. And like I said, this solution is clear, so it's hard to see. So what you're looking for is that it's glistening. That everywhere you apply it, you get that glistening. So I still have like quite a bit left. So like I said, add as little as possible, and then you can always go back in and excrete more of the product. This prevents you wasting. And I did pretty much the small drop for her eyelids, but she has smaller eyes and smaller lashes, so I don't need to use as much of the solution. So put less, and then you can always go back and add some more. And I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it's starting to process because you can see the solution is actually taking on a slightly pink hue. I'm just going to show you this one that's sitting on the cup. It's not crystal clear anymore. It has a little bit of a pinky purpley tinge now to it. So that's good. So it's starting the process. So how long the solution stays on is 15 minutes. You can also use the osmotic film. That's going to help to get you better penetration of the product. And you can just apply it on there. Now, why would you want better penetration of the product? Well, we want our lash lifts to come out and we want them to be good. This helps with the heat from the actual body. It helps to process the perming solution. But if you have someone with really thick lashes and you want to make sure you get that solution in there, that warmth is going to help the product penetrate better. If you have someone with thinner lashes, you might be able to skip the osmotic film, but I find each time I use it, I'm making sure that that product is processing efficiently. But it's not a mandatory, but I do like to use it. So let's talk a little bit about the permanent gel while we're letting this process. So with the permanent gel, I already showed you the trick with opening it. Now, once this is open, this has a 12-month shelf life. It's actually on the bottle as well. So you want to make sure that you're using the product within that time frame. After the 12 months, it's not going to be effective or potent product anymore. Yes, it's 15 minutes for all lashes, regardless. So these products have been tested and for different types of lashes, different types of hairs. And the effectiveness is that you can use it 15 minutes for everyone. You're not going to over process any lashes with the Thuya product. So it's safe for all lashes, 15 minutes. So we're not modifying any of the times. And keep in mind, Thuya is also a care product, right? So yes, she's getting her lashes perm, but we're also doing treatment to her lashes at the same time. And in order for the treatment to take full effect, it needs to have the full time for the service, and that's the 15 minutes. So with the permanent gel, like I said, so it has a 12-month opening time. So you want to make sure that when you do open, you're welcome, when you do open the tube, that you're going to date when you open it. So this tube, you can actually write on it with a Sharpie. So generally, I just opened this one today, but I will be writing, today's date on it so that anyone that's using it, or when I go back to use it, I know how much shelf life is actually left on this product. Another thing is that you can, if you keep a logbook of your products when they're open, you can write it down in your logbook to write when this product was open. Now, the great thing also about Thuya, the permanent gel and the neutralizer are the two products that you're going to use in both services. You're going to use this for your brow lamination, and you're going to use this for your lash lift. So it's really an economical product line because you're going to use both of these products, and you can do two services from just these two products, the permanent gel and the neutralizer. This is also a great opportunity that you can make good use of your time, because I could technically do her brows at the same time that I do the lashes. And what's that going to do? She's going to be getting two services in the time frame that it basically takes me to do one. So probably end maybe 5 minutes later. They both would stay on for the 15 minutes, but she doesn't have to book a whole extra time slot to come in to get her brows done, or I don't have to wait until I completely finish the lashes and go in and start the brows. So it's really cost effective. And as you, as the specialist, you're only going to have to buy these products, the permanent neutralizer, and you're going to be able to add 2 new services to your actual service lineup. Yes, so with the Thuya, we don't use the glue on the brows. I know some other lines do use glues when they're doing the brow lamination. That's an option, but you can just go in and laminate the brows with the permanent solution. You would put the protection cream around the brows, and then you go in and do the perming. But the gluing is not necessary. I find with the osmotic film, and if you press it down well enough, you can get the same effect as glue, right? If you need the brows more heightened, you can do that. It's just the pressure from the actual osmotic film onto the brows will keep it in shape. Perfect. So like I said, so the permanent gel is actually treating the lashes too. It has some active ingredients and there's some lysine in there as well. So that's helping. This is a great service that you can offer your clients who are looking to maybe take a break or maybe stop altogether the lash extensions. They still want that length, but they might need to let their natural lashes grow and heal themselves. And this is a great in-between service. But if you are doing this service for a client that is coming from a lash extension area, you want to make sure you're going to evaluate the quality of their lashes, because sometimes those lashes do need a break, maybe 4 weeks to 6 weeks, just to let the natural, stronger, healthier hairs come in. We're going to do some reparatives. So any of the older lashes that are there, we're going to repair. But if the vast majority of those lashes are not treatable, meaning that they're breaking off, they're missing some hairs, this is a service you might want to tell the client to come back to do. But in the meanwhile, you could do just a treatment with the BTX Lash and Brow Filler. And that I'll go into when we do the Lash BTX, but there are options for your client. You can always prepare them, provide services to prepare them for the lash lift if they are coming from a lash area that's fragile or that they're growing new lashes. Yes, it's a 15-minute process. So Thuya, basically everything is 15 minutes. So you're gonna do the permanent gel 15 minutes, you're gonna do the neutralizer 15 minutes, and the color is 15 minutes, and the BTX is 15 minutes. It's really easy sequencing that you can remember, and it's 15 minutes for everyone. I've been doing this service, I want to say for a year and a half. I have never had any over-processed lashes. So it really is repaired. Generally, the lashes look better when you initially started. Yes, because you're doing the lash lift, but you're also providing hydration, nutrition, the keratin. It's doing a lot of stuff to the lashes in the chemical process that's helping the recovery of the lashes. So you might hear people saying, well, this service, actually, depending on which lash lift that you have used before, the service is right on par. It may be a little bit longer than other lashes services, but this is what we focus on here in Thuya, is caring for the lashes. So when you really promote the service, it's about caring, repairing, and healing the lashes. Yes, your client's gonna have an instantaneous effect of longer lashes, luscious, but we're not just doing that. We're also repairing her lashes. We're making them stronger, longer, and healthier. And that's what the good takeaway about this. There's lots of other lash lift companies out there, but Thuya's focus is a twofold. Yes, we're going to give you the cosmetic beauty that's instantaneous, but in the long run, your client's going to have healthier lashes. And I have other specialists that do use the Thuya, and the vast majority of them tell me that their regular clients who come, their lashes are even healthier and longer because we're doing stuff to help improve the growth of the lashes, right? So you can use growth serums, which is great, and Thuya has them, but you're not going to get that instantaneous lengthening effect. This way, they're getting the instantaneous lengthening effect, but they're also making room for future growth and improvement of the lashes and better health of the lashes too. Yes, it is normal for the perm solution to turn pink after you apply it. That means the chemical process is actually happening, so it's working. But if it's pink in the tube, when you excrete it, that's oxidized product. So it's already come in contact with air. So that's why we always excrete the first little bit that's like the pinky purpley color until you get to the clear solution again. And it's okay if it turns pink shortly after applying it, just when you take it out, because mine turned pink too. And I think just depends, but I think within a minute or so, it turns pink, 30 seconds to a minute, as long as it's not pink when you're putting it out in the tube, right? When it comes out, it should be clear. And it depends on the temperature of your room and everything. If your room is slightly warmer, it may turn pinker on the client a little bit quicker. If you're using the osmotic film, it may as well, but it turns pink as soon as it starts to oxidize. But I just want to make sure that it's pink after you apply it and not in the tube. Is that correct? Yes, okay, perfect. That's fine. Don't worry about that. That's normal. Okay, so it's almost time. We have like another 2 minutes and then I'll be removing this. So you don't need to remove it for the lashes to check on the process. If we were doing the brow elimination, I would be checking the product to see how it's taking to her brows and how her brows are processing. So we'll just let that. Now, when we remove it, it's going to be a dry removal, right? We don't want to add any kind of water to this process, at least not at this stage. The reason why, you might ask, why would we not add water? Well, the glue will be removing from the silicone pad. So that's one reason why we don't want to use water when we're doing the perm removal. Number two, we've just now opened up the hair cuticles. So we don't want to add water to weigh it down, right? Because they're open, ready to be processed with the neutralizer. So that's another reason why you don't want to add water to the process. And also water, when you're doing a perming solution, if you may have some excess perm still on the eye pad, when you add the water, that you have no control of where that gel's going. It becomes completely liquid now and it may run into your client's eye. So that's why we avoid the wet removal when we're doing a perm solution. Okay, so now I'm going to lift this up. And you can throw this out. And I'm going to use a cotton bud and I'm just going to remove it And what I'm doing is I'm just doing my one finger hold and I'm just rounding it. I'll flip it over and just round it up. So you want to keep the everything moving up, 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 because this is what we're doing. We're doing a lift. So we want to make sure we're not moving the glue or moving the lashes. So I'll just take it and you can see, I'll remove most of it. I don't know if you can see that, but this is like what the color it is once it oxidizes. So that kind of like purpley pink color. So I'm just going to go over it again because I want to make sure there's no solution, especially at the base of the lashes. You might see that there might be a little bit of purple. So if you press it in there, if there's any that might have slipped behind the lashes, where the lashes and the waterline are, you can get it out by just pressing and rolling. Maybe hold it for like a second or two and then roll it up. But this is very vital that you make sure that you remove all of the permanent gel. So this eye is good. I'm going to go over to the next one. My goal when I'm doing that is to make sure that I don't see anything on the cotton bud. Okay, and I go in again with another one. The reason why is if there's any kind of permanent gel still left in a certain area of the eye and you go and add the neutralizer, it's going to cancel out each other. So you're not going to get any kind of effect in that area where you've added the neutralizer and the perm is still existing. It'll just be the same shape of her lashes. So that's why it's very key that you make sure each solution is removed thoroughly. Now I've had some lashes popped off, that's fine. This is where you take another opportunity to go in to see if any lashes have popped off. And sometimes it happens, it shouldn't be generally the whole thing. You might have just a little cluster that popped off like I did here. It's about 4 lashes. I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna put the glue on the back of these lashes and adhere them back up, just like I showed you before. This is when you're gonna take the opportunity to make sure all the lashes are on the actual roller. The reason why that is important is because any lashes that are left off, they're not going to take the shape of the roller. And that's, you're not going to get the actual lifting out there. So she'll have some lashes just sticking forward and the rest will be up and back and lifted. And we don't want that. So I'm just going to take a little bit of glue, go in behind these lashes. Just very little, start less is more, especially with the glue. I'm just gonna hold it up and roll it back. But again, this glue dries fast, so make sure you have everything set out and available to you when you're working with it. I'm just gonna take a look here. I see like one there, so I'm gonna grab that one. And this is why lashes are so small. You want to take a look from different angles to make sure that everything is up. So I'll look from both sides. And there's just a little cluster there. I'm going to hold it. If you have some lashes that are stubborn, just hold it for a second to allow the glue to dry. Okay. So all her lashes are up. I'm going to go back in with the neutralizer. The great thing about the glue is that these pads do not move once they're set down, which is what I really like. But only thing I can say is just be very sparingly with the glue because anything that you put down, you'll have to clean up. Okay, so next we're going to go in with the neutralizer. And I'm going to put about the same amount. Now, for the lashes, I'm going to use our liquid neutralizer. Let's see if we can. We also make a cream neutralizer as well. The cream is probably best for the brows because they're thicker and they need a more weighty product, whereas the neutralizer, which is liquid, you can use for the lashes. But they are both interchangeable. So if you have a preference to using cream because in your other line you preferred cream, you can use the cream with this as well. And this product also has a 12-month shelf life. So write this down in your book when you're opening it to know that you listed it for 12 months from the date of opening. Now the glue is the only one with the shortest product life. The glue has a 6-month shelf life. So that's one thing you want to be mindful of. Because it's the latex and the silicone, and like we said, it dries quicker, you want to make sure that you do date it. Because if you go in with a glue that's not tacky or that gums up very quickly, that's when you're going to know that that glue is aged on you. So just be sure that you remember everything in the Thuya line is 12 months. The only exception is the glue, which is a 6 months from date of opening. So I'm going to use a clean brush and I'm going to apply the liquid on the lashes using the clean brush. So with the, I don't want it too much excess, so I do brush it off a little. And I'm just going to put this down and I'm just going to press it into the lashes. Making sure that I saturate it. But you should have no product running down the silicone. Silicone is very smooth, the pad. So if you have excess product, it's going to run into the eye. So I just put enough just so that I can dab it and so that the lashes can absorb it. And are you okay? Okay, perfect. And I like to check in with the client because I might think that she's fine, but I need to hear from her that she's fine, making sure there's no solution that might have gotten in there or something that might be irritating if I've missed any kind of perming solution. And get as close to the base of the lashes. So where you're going to put the neutralizer is in the same areas that you put the perming solution. You're still going to leave the edges free, but you want to make sure you get as close to the base of the lashes as possible. A little fluff there. I'm just pressing. And just I find that you reduce the amount of fluid if you just flick off the back end of your brush and then you can apply it. You can also use a cotton bud too. And I'm just doing a pressing motion. But your brush shouldn't be that wet that the solution is actually running off your brush. Okay. So I'm also going to go ahead and put the osmotic film on this. It's going to do the same thing, just process. And you don't really have to press it down tight, just so that it's firm around the eye area. So what the key element of this is, it's taking the warmth from her actual eye orifice and just processing the solution. So it doesn't need to be tight. Just that film will help the processing. Gently lie it over the eyes in such a way that I've shown you. So like I was telling you about the neutralizer, it does come in a liquid and it does come in a cream. So the cream comes in this tube. This is the neutralizer cream. So it is a tube, but it's a plastic tube. So there's no special ring or anything. So you have to be sure that once you open the neutralizer that you do date it and you do have a 12 months opening time. I'm just going to excrete a little just so that you can see. It's just a white cream for the neutralizer. And you can start with less is more, and then you can use this one as well if that's your preference. So what the neutralizer's job is the neutralizer is going to close those cuticles that we've opened. So as we say, the perm solution breaks down the bond. So it's going to make your hairs like moldable and malleable. So they'll be like wet noodles. But once the neutralizer goes on, it's going to close up those cuticles and they're going to take the shape of what we've laid them on the tool. So in this instance, it's a silicone pad. So it's going to have that lift added to the lashes. So that's why we say it's very important, like, to take a second check after you remove the perming solution, making sure that everything is still on the lashes and that you have the lashes in the position that you want them to be. Because I've seen lash lifts where I can tell the operator or the specialist was just getting them up there and the client has had crisscross lashes, like a number of crisscross lashes. And that's what you don't want to do because it's hard to untangle crisscross lashes. So by taking an extra minute or two to make sure that the lashes are in the proper order and lifted properly on the pad. It's going to be key for you having a successful lash lift, but it's also going to be key for you providing that quality service to your client. That's going to keep them coming back and happy with the results. Let me see. I'm just going to scroll down to this question because it scrolled up some. So pretty much given up. Yes. So another thing that does impact the lash lift and brow lamination is hormonal. So if you have a client with a hormonal condition, and pregnancy or after childbirth and breastfeeding all impact a person's hormones. If your client has PCOS, if they have thyroid condition, anything, if they're on medication for any kind of hormonal imbalance, you may not get an appropriate lift with them, to be honest, because I've had clients, because the hormones does everything. It impacts everything, right? It impacts your hair. It impacts your weight. It impacts so much things. It may be hard for you to get a lift effect with a client who is in a hormonal position in their life. So that can be a client who is perimenopausal, menopausal, just anything that can impact the hormones. And like you were saying, after having babies, I don't know how old the babies are, but if she's still nursing, your client is still nursing, or if you're referring to yourself, that also impacts hormones. So it may take a while for the hormones to balance out for you to try to do the lash lift. Yes, so it is possible. It may work on some, but it may not work because their hormones are out of whack. So what you would say to a client in that instance, that they would have to come back after they have the baby. And I wouldn't say right after. I would give if they're not nursing, I would give them at least 9 months for their hormones to balance back. But if they are nursing, that's also keeping the hormones out of whack as well. Oh, so the children are older now. So she may want to, is her hair a different type of hair? Is it more coarse, her lash hair? And did you try the Thuya with it, or was it another lash lift brand? I'm just waiting to see your response, if it was Thuya you tried with it. Oh, okay, so you can do a lash lift. So let's say you might want to try the Thuya one with them, because the Thuya is like I showed you, it has a longer processing time. You might need to use an osmotic film with this client because she needs more of a processing. This will help with the processing of the lashes. And Thuya has a longer processing time, so she may need that window in order for her lashes to take effect. But you can do it. So let's say I did this on this client and she wasn't happy, or we had crisscross lashes, or I didn't see the effect, or she didn't get the desired look that she wanted. I could go right back in, but I would half everything, right? So, but if she's gone home for the day and she called 2-3 days later, I would give it a week before I do the process again. But if she's right there, because the cuticles have not closed yet, you're still able to do a certain degree of correction when the client is still in your room. But however, if they go home and it's 24 hours later, those cuticles have fully closed now. And you don't want them to be over processed. So I would give it about a week, and then that client can come in and get the service again. Okay. So we're just letting this process. So you want to get everything ready for the next step. So the next step is that what we're going to do is we're going to do the tinting. So Thuya has 9 colors in their color scheme. What's great about them is that they've encompassed, I would say, all of the hair colors. I'm going to grab the colors just so I can show you what colors they have. Obviously, we have the black for the lashes. But we also have other colors. So generally your client's going to use black for the lashes. We also have some other colors that they may want to use for the lashes, and that is perfectly okay. We do have I'm just going to show you the colors. We have a bluish black, which is great. So if you have a fair-haired client that maybe thinks that black might be too dramatic for them, you can use the blue black. You can also mix this with the black, which is what I'll be using on our model today. And this is the deep black. Now, some other colors that you can use on the lashes is we also have let's see if I have it here. We also have a violet black as well. So that one has a little bit of a purpley undertone to it. I think it's in my other kit that's resting here. That color is amazing if your client has like green eyes, because it's opposite to the color wheel. Her lashes are still going to be dark, but that slight hue of contrast with the violet underneath is going to make the eyes pop even more. So those are typically the three that you would use for the lashes. We also have a graphite. So these are for more of your silver-haired clients that you may want to just go with a graphite color. We also make an ash taupe color. So if you have, I like to use this for silver-haired clients as well, just because it's a little bit warmer than the actual graphite itself, and it's not as intense. So this is a taupe gray that you can use for the clients. Now these colors are typically going to be for the brow area. And for the clients, we also have a light brown. So the light brown colors, I'm trying to hold all of them and show you at the same time. So the light brown color, these would be like more for your clients, maybe with blonde hair, light brown hair. These will give them that dramatic without being an overpowering color on the brows. And then we also have the ash brown and the chestnuts. And chestnut is a warmer one with more red tones. And that would be for more of your clients with the warmer brown color. Okay. Yes, you should patch test the tint if you're going to be doing that on the hairs as well. This is almost processed. It has another 2 minutes. Okay, perfect. So we'll take this off shortly. Okay, so I'm going to remove this. So what I'm going to do is, now that they're closed, I can use a little bit of a damp cotton pad. If there was the cream, you would just take off the excess cream, but because it was a liquid, it absorbs into the lashes. So when I'm removing it, I just want to moisten it up. My goal is to unstick the lashes. And this is the part you want to do first before you go in and remove the back side of the lash pad. I'm just using a little bit of water, just enough to get them unstuck, and trying to keep them going up. You see the glue there? You can see because there's a latex in the glue. I don't want to add too much excess moisture to this. Okay. And just gently wiggle it, but make sure you put it back up. And get the base unstuck. That's why I say it's very key that you use less glue, because you'll be sitting here for the majority of the time, just removing the glue. So do very thin. This glue has good adhesion, so it doesn't have to be super thick in order to hold the lashes. I'm doing it kind of like just to release the glue at the back. You don't want to pull this off without removing the glue in the front, because then you'll be pulling at your client's lashes and you don't want to do that. Okay, we've got them all off. There's a little bit of a glue there. I just want to make sure that I'm trying to roll it off with the wet. And because it's a latex-based glue as well, if it was a thicker application, sometimes you'll get like these, a little bit of the dried latex in the lashes. And you want to make sure that you clean the lashes completely. I'm just wetting it a little bit with some water. Just to remove one lash stuck here. Yeah, so the glue, if it's too, and I did a pretty thin, but there were some areas where I had to go back and add a little more. So let's see. Here we go. And sometimes it just sticks because it's a latex. And I just quickly brush the lashes up. And then I'm going to do the other one. And just give me 1 second while we let this soak. Okay, so once you've removed the curving solution and the neutralizer, I just like to fluff up the lashes, make sure there's none of the latex glue in there. And then we're going to go in and add the treatment for the BTX filler. So you don't have to use excess water because we use the liquid neutralizer. When I cleaned the lashes off with the cotton bud and the water, that removed any excess product. So the thing about the BTX filler, like we said, it's going to give your client plumper, fuller lashes. It's going to amplify the lash lift. So what's great about this, it comes with all these little brushes that you can go in and apply. So these are also, you can order them by themselves, but this is how you're going to apply the BTX filler. Now, if you were doing a tent, if you're doing the tent, you would go in and do the tent and then apply the BTX filler. But for time's sake, I'm gonna just show you the BTX filler because that is what we really wanna feature today. There will be a whole session on tenting itself. So I'm just going in and adding the BTX filler here. And I'm doing like a front and back motion. And just use a new stick when you go in. You can scoop a little bit out. This is gonna plump those lashes. This is gonna amplify her treatments. This is the treatment. This has sunflower oil in it.
Hi, everyone. Sorry about this. We have just experiencing a difficulty. Can you guys hear me, though? If you guys can hear me, okay. Just give us 1 second. We just wanted to showcase something. So give me, I will try to help Chinita out. Give me 1 second. Does hers?
Hers is full and she has the charger here.
Okay. We should just use her laptop to begin with.
Yeah.
Sorry guys, just give us 1 second. Sorry, has everybody able to see? We're just doing the removal process at the moment. Is everybody able to hear and also see the screen? Once again, we apologize for this. Thank you for actually staying on and waiting until we fix the troubleshoot, because today's webinar was also about showcasing the BTX to see how you can offer this as an add-on service for your aftercare. Because Thuya has 2 aftercares, has a regenerating cream that is also a retail product to take home. But BTX is a professional service that you can add about $5 to $8 more, and or not 5 to 8, 5 to 10 about, or up to 15 for this service to do. And actually the customer can come back even within that timing until their next lash lift, and actually can do the BTX on its own as well to plump up the lashes. So she'll just start to, are you removing the glue though?
No. It still has another 5 minutes to process.
So you put the BTX?
Yeah, I got to that point putting it on.
Oh, because show me, you only showed one eye. So the BTX
is on.
Okay. So the BTX is on. And it stays for 15 minutes. Okay.
I didn't get to that one, so I'll show it.
Because
Okay.
Yep, you are.
Know. Okay.
Yep,
so
you are.
I'm sorry about that, guys. It died while I was doing the application. I don't know if you saw the application on this eye, but what I'm doing is just brushing it through. What we're doing, and make sure that you brush it up. We want to make sure we're getting that solution throughout the lashes. We're making sure it's going from the root to the tip. And that's going to help with that plumpening process. Like Chris said, this stays on for 15 minutes. And this can be done alone. It doesn't need to be done just when they're getting the lash lift service. This can be done 2 to 3 weeks after. So if they want to come back to get this done, they're able to do that. Like I said, this is a treatment in its own right. It can be done with the lash lift or by itself. And like, I don't know if you heard, but it has the corn flour, the grapeseed oil, the keratin, all of those products, the olive oil that's going to help to hydrate and build and strengthen these lashes. Now, when you've done a lash lift, you want to make sure you're not brushing the lashes down because that completely defeats the purpose of the lash lift. So you want to make sure when you're applying this that you're brushing this up. Because we've just done the lashes, the cuticles are almost completely closed, but they do take 24 hours to close fully. So you don't want to do anything that's going to negate the fact that you've just done the lash lift.
So I just let them know that the BTX is actually going to close the follicle.
Yes.
So that they know that it's that's why it seals it. Same with the regenerating. Right. Yeah. So
the BTX, that will help speed up the process of closing the hair follicle. So your client will be able to enjoy their lash lift a little bit sooner. But there's still certain precautions that you want to make sure that they do not take, like excessive steam, excessively working out, overly saturating the lash area with humidity, just so that this will have a proper chance to do the lift within that time frame. So like Chrissy said, this is a professional product. The regenerating cream, which is the other product, that is a product that you can sell to your client for them to take home to maintain their lashes. You would use either or. You would not use the regenerating cream and the BTX. You would just use one or the other. Now this one has about another 4 minutes left on it. Now mainly it will absorb nicely into the lashes when you comb them through. So you shouldn't have any excess of product, but if you find that you do, you can just go in with a cotton bud to remove any excess product. But because it's a cream, it really does massage into the lashes very nicely. So you just perform a chemical service on your client, but in addition now they're getting a treatment. And as I was saying before, if you have a client that needs repairing to their lashes, this is a service they can come and get a loan even before they get a lash lift. So if you have someone with lash extensions and their lashes are not in the best of health, they can come and see you for a BTX filler once or twice, within a 2 to 3 week time frame to build up the strength of the lashes so that you're able to do the lash lift with healthier, stronger lashes. I'm just taking out the cream that's at the base of the lashes. So there's no need to rinse the lashes after you put the BTX filler on. Like we said, that's going to plump out the hair. It's going to fill in any ridges, any weak spots. It's going to strengthen on the lash. And even after you've done the application, it's still going to go through and do its reparative process. So that's why we don't remove it with any kind of water or solution.
You don't necessarily need to, oh, if you want to tell them,
Okay.
You don't need to. It's just that I don't want to say this one. Just say,
okay.
And you don't have to.
Okay.
Have an even
yes.
spread of it.
So once you've, so when you apply it initially, you want to brush through the solution through the lashes. You don't have to overly brush. My time was basically elapsed. So any excess product that you do see, I just brush it through the lashes, but you brush it, you wait the 15 minutes. And then after, if there is still product visible on the lashes, you just want to brush it through, remove any excess product with the cotton swab. As you get comfortable using the BTX filler, you're going to know how much is appropriate to use. It is a thicker product, so that's why it's best to apply it with the thin swab brushes. Try and do like more of a swiping motion and front and back of the lashes as well.
So I'm just going to jump in here. So Sandy, you have a good question. Let me just go a little bit back on through the questions here because they're very weirdly altered here. So give me 1 second. So Sandy, were you okay? There was a question about telling Beauty D to just order the BTX, not the regenerating cream. The BTX is a professional service, but not all clients will want this or pay that extra like $15 to get this done, right? So always good to have your regenerating as an aftercare in anything you do, because also the regenerating is a great aftercare for your brow laminations or your tintings to seal in that service, right? And provide that hydration. So both of them are very much needed in your services. Then how long after BTX can they do another lash lift? Well, the lash lift should not be done until after 1 month, 4 to 6 weeks. Whether or not using a BTX, you do not perform a lash lift earlier than a month, as this could be over processing. And plus, a lash lift does last 4 to 6 weeks. So they wouldn't need to be coming back often. And that's why I give them the proper aftercare instructions so that it maintains all that time. Then the question, do you keep combing them through the whole 15 minutes? No, you put it on, you let them sit. Just if you find in some areas it's sitting heavily or it's a little bit clumped, just so it doesn't feel uncomfortable on the customer too, or it gets into their eye, just use the spoolie to spread it through, okay? If they have done a lift, then come in twice to do BTX after. So between the next service of the lash lift, they can get the BTX done again. So in the 4th week mark, if they want to do the BTX on its own, yes, they can. Okay. If you had a customer that has stinging from very sensitive eyes and they panic, would you flush with water? You would remove first the bulk of the solution as fast as you can, and then you would flush with water, depending on the severity or how stressed out they are with the solution being in their eye. But I remove the bulk of it and then right away do the rinse. Okay. The mechanical rinsing. Did I get all the questions? Because the questions are all mix and match. Can you apply BTX treatment before applying lash extensions? Sandy, I will check into that. I don't know if the lash extension or if the BTX will do anything with your glues or anything like that with the lash extension. So I will need to check to see. I know you can tint before you do lash extensions. For example, people had blonde lashes. You want to be able to see them when you're putting the extensions on. You can tint. I will have to check that for you and I will let you know. So I think every question was answered, I think. Yes. Were all the questions answered? Because that concludes the demonstration. How do you guys feel about the whole treatment and offering this? And just know that Reflecticel services, they are more of a spot, not Reflecticel, sorry, Thuya services are more of a spa treatment because they take a little bit longer. So it's more for that customer that wants to be in there, wants to be relaxed, and because the timings take a little bit longer, that's how you would cater it to your customers. Okay. How much do you charge for lash lift? So lash lift goes between $70 to $90. That's without a tinting. If you start adding a tinting, you go between 90 to 125, plus you have the BTX, which is almost about 15 bucks that you have to add on. Then you create a combo and you usually do a $10 discount off of that pricing, of that combo pricing. Okay. You guys feel okay? Any last minute questions before we shut it off? You should be getting a recording after, I believe they say after 24 hours. I will check on that. I just have to make sure when Shanita goes home and plugs in her laptop to charge, let us know, because I'm not in as a host, so I don't know. So you'll have to let us know. If worse comes to worse and the recording, you know, didn't work, we do have on our website the lash lift recording. I don't believe we have one on BTX, but we could always send you a video on the BTX. Okay, so I really appreciate the patience.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. And we'll let you go for today because I know we went a little bit over the time. And if you have any questions, education@cbngroup.com. Education@cbngroup.com. Thank you.
I'm gonna get extra charges.